Police respond to thousands of calls every year. Most are routine, disturbances, traffic stops, welfare checks. But some calls, the ones that start normal and end in horror, those stay with officers forever. What you're about to hear are 4 true police encounters told by the officers who lived them. No dramatization. Just the facts of what happened when routine calls became nightmares. This is what they don't show you on TV. Call number 1. The abandoned car. South Jersey, 2:17 a.m. Officer on night patrol spots taillights on the shoulder of a dark country road. No streetlights. Woods on both sides. As he approaches, he sees the driver's side door standing open. He slows down, planning to offer assistance. Then someone steps out of the car, stands by the door for maybe 2 seconds, and runs directly into the woods. The officer radios suspicious person and vehicle, exits his cruiser with flashlight drawn, hand on holster. Standard procedure. Expect the worst. He approaches the vehicle, looks inside through the open door. Empty, but there's a smell. Powerful, foul, like rotting meat. He calls into the woods. Police, do you need assistance? No response. He steps to the tree line, sweeping his flashlight through the darkness. Nothing. Returns to the vehicle for closer inspection. Passenger side floor. Multiple blood-soaked tissues and paper towels. Not just stained, completely saturated. Dark red. The entire paper's drenched. Rear seats. Same thing. More bloodied materials. While examining the interior, he hears footsteps in the woods. Spins around. Flashlight up. Come out of the woods. No movement visible. Then a voice deep. Male. Somewhere beyond the trees. The words are unintelligible. Officer responds. Show yourself. Are you hurt? The voice didn't sound like someone in pain. Didn't sound like someone bleeding out seeking help. And why would an injured person run from a police car? Something was wrong. Officer returns to his vehicle. Requests backup. While waiting, he notices no license plates. Returns to the rear of the vehicle. Finds something wrapped in blood-soaked paper towels. Heavy. With gloved hands, he unwraps it. A severed human hand, completely dark red, soaked in blood. The situation just escalated from suspicious to possible homicide. He immediately radios. Possible murder. Need backup now. Backup arrives. They conduct thorough search of the woods, looking for blood trails, bodies, anything. Nothing. No blood trails leading from the car, meaning the hand and the blood-soaked tissues likely weren't from whoever ran into the woods. Canine units arrive. Hours of searching. Nothing found. Vehicle was reported stolen by a resident of nearby town. Owner claims no knowledge of who took it. Fingerprints collected from steering wheel. DNA testing on the severed hand. 0 matches in any database. To this day, no progress. No identification of the driver. No identification of whose hand it was. The case remains open and unsolved. Call number 2, the woman crawling on the floor. 2 officers assigned to ankle monitor enforcement track an absconded subject to a residence in questionable neighborhood. 8 p.m. They approach the house. 1 officer at front door, partner covering the side. Front door officer knocks. Movement inside. Door slowly opens. Middle-aged woman peers out. Here's what was strange. She looked directly at the officer covering the side of the house, even though he was positioned where no window would reveal him. She shouldn't have known he was there. Most people answer the person at their front door. She looked at the side of the house first. They ask about Camille, their target. The woman mutters something about Camille being there. Then she drops to her hands and knees. Starts scooting across the floor, yelling for Camille. Clear mental health issues. Officers assume Camille is a caretaker. They enter to search the house. The entire time, this woman follows them on the ground. Never standing, just crawling, yelling for Camille. 8 p.m., dark outside. 1 light on inside the house. No TV, no electronics of any kind. The house felt wrong. The layout, older home, 4 bedrooms, 2 floors. Every time an officer left a room, he'd enter a hallway and somehow be in a different part of the house, like the layout didn't make sense, like walking through dimensional gaps. The woman would sometimes appear right behind them without making a sound. They both head upstairs. What should be bedrooms at the top of the stairs? They try opening the door. It won't budge. Appears sealed, like painted over with dried paint in the door seams. They force it open. Not bedrooms. An attic. In quote. Just storage. Insulation. Old light bulb with a pull string. The woman sits at the bottom of the stairs, watching. Occasionally yelling for Camille. They search for what feels like an hour. Going into rooms they swear they just left. Repeating areas without meaning to. Finally, they give up. Clear the property. As they drive away, the woman is standing at the front door, staring at them. According to dispatch records, they were only there 20 minutes. It felt like over an hour. Neither officer has returned to that house. Call number 3, The bedroom corpses. Georgia. Between Macon and Roberta, officers respond to a residence thought to be abandoned for years. When they arrive, older man sitting on the front steps, hands in pockets, crying, sobbing, muttering about how awful it is. They try questioning him. He's completely incoherent, traumatized. Partner calls for another car. One officer enters the house with gun drawn. The smell hits immediately. Overpowering, rancid. Kitchen and living room, total wreck. Hoarding situation. Pots and pans stacked to ceiling. Spoiled food everywhere. Takeout containers scattered across floors. Officer calls out, silence. Heart rate building despite 5 years of experience. Checks living room, empty. Moves down the hall, smell getting worse. Covers mouth and nose, opens what he suspects is the bedroom. 2 corpses in bed, gray skin, covered in flies. He forces himself closer despite churning stomach. 1 male, 1 female. Skin on faces already falling off. Flies flying in and out of their mouths, some sitting on their eyeballs. He inspects the female corpse. She's holding something, even smaller, an infant. A large cockroach crawls out of the dead infant's mouth. Officer runs outside, vomits all over the steps. Additional units arrive, more thorough inspection. The older man who was sitting outside, former co-worker of the dead man, hadn't shown up for work for over a week, came to check on him. He was the first to see it. Investigation reconstructs what happened. Husband and wife became addicted to opioids after surgery a year prior. Started abusing painkillers. Addiction escalated to heroin. Their daughter, not more than 2 years old, died of neglect. When they discovered their baby's corpse, they broke completely, decided to end themselves. Coroner found enough heroin in both their bodies to kill them twice over. The officer is still on the force. Started drinking too much after that incident. He's been to therapy, got his drinking under control, but he still has nightmares about that child's corpse. In his nightmares, the baby is still crying. Call number 4, under the bed. Young woman living alone calls 911, says she came home to broken window downstairs. Nothing stolen, can't find anyone inside. Then when she went upstairs to bed, she heard footsteps moving around downstairs. Call disconnects. Dispatchers attempt callbacks. No answer. Officer arrives, knocks on front door, no response. Knocks again, rings bell, no response. Bangs loudly, rings bell repeatedly, nothing. Decides to inspect the property. Walks around house, finds the broken window large enough to crawl through easily, sticks his head inside the dark house, yells, police. Silence. Radios dispatch. House seems silent. More officers en route. But he doesn't feel right waiting. Someone could be in danger. Radios that he's entering through the window. Climbs through into kitchen. Steps over shattered glass. Draws weapon. Shouts into the house announcing his presence as police. No footsteps audible. The woman said she heard footsteps downstairs, meaning her bedroom is upstairs. He heads up the stairs, not trying to be quiet, but not stomping either. Calls out, "Ma'am, it's a police officer. Are you here?" Soft female voice from upstairs. "Yes." Follows voice to bedroom. Woman sitting up in bed under covers. Asks if she's okay. She says she's fine. Slight tremble in her voice. Officer keeps bedroom lights off, enough moonlight to see her facial expression. She looks distressed. He asks why she hung up and didn't answer callbacks. She stutters, "No one is here." He catches on, looks at the closet, makes slight head nod toward it. She very slightly shakes her head no, looks down, points under the bed. She shakes her head yes. Weight of the situation hits him. 1,000 pounds of pressure deciding what to do. He comes up with plan. "Ma'am, I need you to sign this report form stating I was here and there was nothing unusual." She says okay, gets up from bed, comes toward him. When she's close enough, he pushes her out of the room. Draws weapon. Yells, "Come out from under the bed." He's shocked when a dark figure actually slowly emerges. Hands first, drop any weapons. Clank of something hitting floor, a gun. Middle-aged man in all black clothing steps out, hands up. Arrested on the spot. Brought outside right as other officers arrive. What happened? Woman hung up when she thought footsteps were upstairs, didn't want intruder hearing the call audio. Didn't answer callbacks because intruder had entered her room. Had her at gunpoint. Instead of fleeing when police were called, the intruder threatened to shoot her if she made a sound when police arrived. When officer rang the bell, intruder hid under bed, told her to pretend he wasn't there. The officer is grateful he caught on to the situation. It could have gone many different ways if he hadn't. 4 calls, 4 officers, 4 encounters that went from routine to horror. A severed hand in a stolen car with no explanation. A house that didn't make physical sense with a woman crawling on the floor. A family destroyed by addiction with an infant dead from neglect. A woman held at gunpoint in her own bed while police stood feet away. These aren't the calls they train you for in the academy. These are the calls that stay with officers for the rest of their careers. The ones they think about when they're alone. The ones that prove reality is sometimes more disturbing than any horror movie. If you have respect for what officers face in the line of duty, share this video. Subscribe for more true stories that show what happens when routine calls become nightmares. Thanks for watching.